all about how to use, you ready for this? I made a mess. Just totally fine. How to use your fall leaves. It is fall time and everybody's looking for ways to have fun. I have 4 kids, 3 girls that help me out with this project. And I took them out leaf picking yesterday, and we picked just a whole bunch of different leaves for our project today, and we're going to make a leaf crown to use for portraits. You can use it for many different things. I'll be using ours for portraits today, so really something that's a lot of fun to do. You can do it yourself if you're bored, or you can get your kids involved, and I guarantee you they will have a lot of fun doing it. So my number one thing when I work with florals, or in this case leaves, is to mix a variety of different colors. If you don't want to mix colors, that's fine. You want to mix the textures. Leaves are all kind of the same texture, but they're different shapes and sizes. So that's what I went for. I've got a big centerpiece leaf that I'm going to be using. It's still the beginning of fall, so I'm mostly stuck with yellow, which is fine with me. I'll use yellow. I've got these little pieces here. I've got some really pretty purple, amber type leaves, and I'm going to be working with a lot of these. Now, a leaf crown isn't going to last very long because as leaves fall off of trees, they start to get dry and brittle. Which is fine if you're not shooting with a child and you know that whoever's wearing your hat is going to be very, very careful with it. So just keep that in mind. Also, I went ahead and these yellow leaves I had originally pressed, meaning I put them on a flat surface on my table here actually, and I put a bunch of heavy books that I wasn't using on top of them. And I flattened them, and then I realized that I'm not going to have any body to my crown. You don't want to flatten your leaves like I did. I just did that to a couple, so I'm not too worried about it. You really want your leaves to have a lot of body, and you don't want the whole thing to be really flat and stiff. Okay, so we are going to get started. I've got my coffee here, so if you're a coffee person, definitely pour yourself a cup and get started with your project. Yum. Okay, so I started with a really thick piece of floral wire. Comes in a roll like this. You can really get it at any craft store. I cut a piece off. I didn't measure it. What I did was just cut off a super long piece, kind of like this here. And I'm just going to wrap it around my head. Notice the place on my forehead here. I'm just going to kind of measure. You don't want it to be too tight because remember we're putting leaves on it, so you want that extra space. So I've got just a little bit poking out here, and I'm just going to twist it around. Okay, there's no need for any extra steps that we don't need. If I'm doing a project, it's going to be super easy. I hate taking extra steps. I hate sewing. I love glue. So that's what you're going to get out of my projects for the most part. Hot glue gun already plugged in. And I'm going to start with my centerpiece off to the side, kind of. I don't want it in the middle of my crown. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it about where I want that on my crown. Now you can take the little stem and wrap it around a bit, which is what I'm going to do. But ultimately, what's going to keep this leaf in place is the hot glue. And ow, watch your fingers. I know I'm horrible with the hot glue gun. Whenever I use it, it ends up on my fingers. It's probably true for everyone, so just be careful when you're using the hot glue gun. Okay, so I've got my first leaf in place, and you'll probably want to hold it there just for about 30 seconds or so. It's taking a little bit longer than I had anticipated for this glue to dry with the leaf. There we go. And the leaves aren't perfect. I just picked these yesterday. You don't want them to be too old because then they start to get all shrivelly, which is kind of what these purple leaves are doing. A little bit sad about it, but it's still going to work out just fine for us. Okay, so I've got that leaf in place. And now you can kind of build around your centerpiece. I've got a lot of little leaves and branches kind of that I wanted to come down around in the front here. So I'm just going to take that, position it, and I'm going to wrap the stem around. And I'm going to hot glue it in the back here. Again, being very careful not to hot glue my fingers. Okay, so I've got to start. And this project is probably going to take me about 30 minutes with with placing all the leaves around my head wrap here. So I'm going to keep mixing the different looks with my leaves. And I'm probably going to glue this one to the front of my leaf. I think that's going to be a little bit easier. There we go. Okay, notice how I'm starting to get a really beautiful mixed look with my leaves here. And I really don't think you can put too many leaves on a leaf crown. I think the more the better, and the more variety of leaves that you have, the better as well. So I'm just going to keep piling these on, and we're going to get a really beautiful, natural looking fall crown here. And right now I'm just hot gluing the leaves to the front. You can kind of cut the stems off if they get to be too long. Okay, so we've got to start. Right now I need to start working on the edges a little bit, and we'll be done in no time. Okay, and I'm going to keep going around the edges. So it's important to get some of the leaves glued both on the front and the back to make it look a little bit more fuller, which is what we're doing right now. The key is to get like a nice full leafy crown is to just keep layering different shapes and different colors of your leaves. So that's what I've been doing in the front, and as you can see I'm kind of moving it towards the sides here. So I'm just going to keep working on this and plugging through. Okay, so this I'm really liking. This is going to be my finished leafy crown, my fall leaf crown. So now that I'm almost done, you can see there's glue everywhere. So the last thing I want to do is just pick off the little strands of hot glue that might be dangling. You can capture that in your portraits and it might turn into something beautiful, ethereal, or if there's little glue pieces hanging down, it'll kind of look like a spider web and it can change into a very spooky crown. So just take off your little glue pieces, and I'm also, again, I'm just going to go in and cut off some of the stems that are sticking down a bit too low. There's no perfect way to do it. And I have got my crown. Now I don't have a mirror, so I'm not sure if I'm putting this on right. I'm sure it's right. There we go. Ta-da! And it's actually completely adjustable because I just twisted the ends of the crown. I am hopefully going to get a photo of one of my daughters with the crown this evening, or all three, because I'm sure they'll all want to wear the crown. And that'll probably be our next project, is making a lot of these little crowns. I'm sure we'll be making at least 10 of them this fall. But that's the whole point of the tutorial, is just to have fun with it, have something really beautiful and fantastic to add to your portraits over the fall time. There's a lot of things that you can do with the beautiful colors, and so definitely try it out. If you have a photograph of a fall leaf crown that you have made, I would love to see it. You can post it on my Facebook page, on Twitter, #Amanda'sActions, and I would love to see it.